All right, and we are live down here in the workshop. Ooh boy, I don't like quite where that camera is. That's going to be deep on the bench there. I'm gonna have to pull up if I want people to see what I'm doing. I feel like every time I'm down here, the setup is a little bit different on the bench and everything. So, bear with me. I'm doing my best, and for now. I'm down here in the workshop. We're doing some toy making. Hey, Nicka Beans, first in the. I'm not surprised you're first here for a night where I'm down in the workshop. I know this is your favorite brand of Perry stream. Um, but yeah, I have a few different things I'm planning to work on tonight. Some of it is stuff that I'm circling back to previous projects, and some of it's things that were recommended to me, and some of them honestly are projects that I'm just kind of getting started, and I probably won't be able to finish on stream, although I'm keeping an eye on one of the printers back behind me. They're just over this shoulder here. If one of them finishes in time, I might be able to pull the prints off of there, and we might be able to actually make something I didn't think we'd finish. Let's see, I'm going to embroider mushrooms while you watch me work. Hey, that's awesome. Hey, Rise here. Bobby Gilbert. That's right. It's Tuesday Night Perry. All right. So the first thing I want to do is kind of update you guys a little bit. Some of you will recall, and I'm gonna switch to the big screen here. Some of you will recall I was working on a version of the Fisher Price Little People for Perry Von Vicious, with specifically with a. And I'm gonna readjust the camera here. Oh, there we go. That's much better. See, I knew I'd figure it out. And essentially, I wanted to make Perry Little People with a little monster truck, and I have the hey, Graves made it. I have my little prototype here, and I'm pretty pleased with it. The first thing is I discovered printing the beard to go on the heads. I'm going to try to get that up close to the camera. Printing the beard for the heads was never going to work. This thing came out so ratty and unusable, so having it as its own piece it's just a little too small for what my printers can manage. So that's not going to be the one that goes in the pile. So instead, what I did, and I'm hoping this will show on camera here, is I made it part of the head sculpt, and that came out really nice, really crisp, really good on there. And you're going to be able to see that in a little bit better detail when I show you the other pieces in a second. In fact, this was just the prototype. That's why it's in white. And so that's the prototype in white there. But and all the rest of these pieces are prototypes. That's why they're plain gray. But I did order some sort of Perry flesh color filament, and I think this should show a little bit better on there. And I'm pretty pleased with how that came out. So I'm gonna have to paint the beards on those, but it's a very small thing to have to paint. I'm not really too worried about that. And then the rest of these are all prototype bits. So to show what the Perry figure is going to look like, it's about like that before the hair goes on, and really came out exactly how I wanted. I do have one piece of the hair prototype printed, just in white, so I'm going to paint that at the same time I paint this beard, and then we're going to glue it on once it dries. That we should be able to get to all of that here on the stream, but you kind of get a little bit of the idea here of what we're looking at. The colors are just a little wonky. So I'm going to make that work. And then the truck itself came out great with this little monster truck tires, little engine, and little roll bars, and the little truck bed here. Very pleased with how all of that came out. And the tires do all roll freely on there. So when I'm printing these, I'm going to print the tires in black. For the body, I actually got some rainbow filament that changes color every about once a meter. And yeah, that's something that I was discussing with my wife. She looked at it and immediately also said, like, I think the tires need to be bigger. Joey Nails in the house. Welcome, bud. And I think I agree. I think I do need to do the redesign to make the tires bigger. I'm going to remove some of these the accessories here. That will mean that these little wheel wells that go around here are also going to have to be bigger. So I'm going to have to go back into the body file and edit that as well. Not a big deal. That'll all go pretty quick, but I was very happy with how the little pegs worked, because it does in fact roll very easy. So pretty pleased with that. But yeah, I got some rainbow filament that changes, so as it prints, it'll sort of change color as it moves up. So that's going to look really cool. I'll do the tires in black, and I think the roll bar and the engine, I'm just going to keep those in their sort of silver gray. I have a lot of that in it. I don't know how well it reads on camera, but it does reflect a bit, so it has a bit of a metallic feel. So I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, I've been pretty pleased with how this has gone. I'm keeping the prototype vehicle as is. No sense painting something that I'm just going to reprint all the parts for anyway. But one of the first things I'm going to work on here, we're going to start painting up the bits for this little guy. Idea Perry. Come as an artist and last day throw a Perry monster truck derby for who can make... I mean, I've heard worse ideas. You can paint them after purchase. That's not a bad idea. Hey, Beam Motorsports is here. Hey, thanks, guys. I really liked it. I think a lot of the viewers who are here on stream right now were here yesterday for that stream, and they really enjoyed it as well. Yeah, you all are doing some great work with the Beam stuff. I'm actually I'm doing some monster truck creation of my own. I'll show this. This is a 3D print Matchbox supercharger style chassis that I custom made to go with a modern Bigfoot body off of one of the Hot Wheels toys. You can even see there's a little driver in there, little engine, and a back bed with a roll bar. So yeah, I'm doing a little monster making of my own. But yeah, I love the work you all are doing. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I can't wait to play it again. I can't wait to see what else you guys add to it too. I know in the chat some folks were asking for Grandma Gravedigger. That was a big request. So just from my chat, that's what they were up to. Anyhow, we're going to get to the monster truck customs in just a little bit. For now, this Fisher-Price Little People monster truck that I made, we are going to, really quickly, we're just going to paint the hair and the beard on this guy, and I'm going to set it off to the side so it can dry a little bit. I've got if you're hearing a hum, like a constant hum, that's the space heaters behind me. It's freezing in this basement. I'm in like 4 layers. It might not show, but I'm layered up here. So yeah, I'm going to paint these real quick, and then we're going to hang them back to dry, and hopefully they'll be done for me to glue this together before the stream is over. We can have a little look at Fisher-Price Perry. So we're going to get right to that. So I'm going to set the parts that don't need painting aside for now. You might have noticed off to the side, I have a lot of these Perry heads done. They print really easy, so I was able to do like 5 to a print bed without any issue. So I flew through them. A lot of them still have, like, if this one looks deformed, yeah, it has the supports, but they just fall right off. So really pleased with how that worked out. This will give you an idea. So it's got some support material there to keep that beard steady when it was printing, and I just peels right away. Finished piece. Oh, you're eyeing the toxic. Yeah. So I actually made this. I found the 3D files for the action figure, printed all the pieces, and painted it myself. So this is my replica of Toxie, and I still have, I kept it out tonight because I still have his little grenades that I still need to paint. We got his little glow-in-the-dark sidekick that came with the figure. And then over here on this rack, if you look in the bottom corner, you'll see it a bit better. I have his belt, his mop, and his shield all hung up waiting to get painted. So still got to finish those up. Hey, Dizzy Hellfire made it. Haven't seen you in a little bit. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, I'm really pleased with how it came out. All right, so I am going to work on painting this Little People head, and that's going to be where we're getting started tonight. I got my drawer of acrylics here. And I guess since I'm painting both, I can just go with whatever's closest to my sort of cartoon version of my hair and beard. You know, not looking for it to be totally exact. Visited? Oh no way! You visited the trauma offices? That's amazing. Oh, that's so cool. Makes you go to bed at 11 p.m. I totally get that. That's hey, my sleep schedule's crazy these days. Some nights up till 3:30 in the morning, and then not getting up till like noon the next day. It's a mess. I don't necessarily recommend it. Let's see. What colors have I used for this in the past? That's a straight up yellow. I think I was using this sort of like it's called King's Gold. It's kind of a it's as close as I'm going to get to my hair. My hair's got a little more red in it than that, I think, but this is going to have to do. And let's see, this is some kind of small fine work, so I'm going to pick my brush carefully here. You know, I like a fairly short bristled flat brush usually. I think this one's going to do the trick. Do you get fancy and layer up colors? Um, I do on some projects, and I have some really cool ones coming up in the very near future. I'm gonna be 100% streaming more than twice a week in the very near future. I have my 3D printers running like crazy right now. I'm gonna tell you this as I prep this stuff. Um, my 3D printers are running crazy right now because I did something very uncharacteristic of Perry. Uh, those who know me very well, those who know me personally, know that I am a completionist. I refer to it as being a canonical completionist. Um, for example, the Ninja Turtles. I want all of the based figures. Like that's what I want. I don't need, outer space Donatello. I don't need the Star Trek variants. I don't need the monster variants. I think they're awesome, and I would love to have them, but I don't need them. But I need all four turtles. I need Splinter. I need Shredder. I need April O'Neil. These are the figures I need. I need the canonical main figures, and I need all of them. I am a canonical completionist. Um, and I'm very much a canonical completionist when it comes to Perry things. I have every match I've ever been in. I have footage. I have the match graphic from every match that's ever had a graphic made for it, saved on a hard drive. I have every poster I was ever on, every magazine I've ever been in, every newspaper I've been in. I have all of that stuff. Every match I was ever in that I couldn't personally get the footage, I've ripped the footage from websites where it was. I have everything. I have a spreadsheet that has every match I've ever been in, who my opponent was, how long the match went, how much I was paid, what city and state it was in, or what country and prefecture, and every bit of data that I could possibly have on myself. Because again, I'm a completionist. I want that information. Somewhere along the lines, I dropped the ball when it came to toy making. I was 3D printing these toys. I was 3D printing toys for shows, and were any of the payments straight up hot dogs? Yeah, absolutely. Early on, Martinez, California, Devil Mountain Wrestling, they don't exist anymore, so I don't mind singling them out. There were some shows where myself and Levi Shapiro and Dark Sheik and Anton Voorhees were all paid in hot dogs. El Chupacabra from Hood Slam was on those shows. All of us paid in hot dogs. But those shows were for the love of what we were doing. And merch sales. Merch sales helped. All right, that's got to be about mixed up enough. So I kept all those things, but at some point along the way in my toy making specifically, everyone wanted to buy the toys and I wanted to make the money. And my feeling was, oh, I've got a 3D printer. I can always make more. And I would make a bunch. They would sell out. I would make a bunch more. They would sell out. I'd make a bunch more and they would sell out. And then I'd move on to making a slightly different toy and then that would sell out. And eventually I sold out of all the toys and never kept examples of my toys that I made for myself. So the Perry Series 1 monster truck, the Perry Series 1.1, which was the Galactic Chaos variant of that same toy, the Perry Series 2, the Perry Series 2 Jolly Rancher variant, which was a transparent, colorful version. The Perry Series 3, which was Perry's dream car that was based on a convertible that looked like Barbie would have driven it. I'm going to paint everything except this little corner of this one. That way I've got something to hold it. Oh, and as long as I have the screen here, I wanted to do a quick, if you're ever into this kind of crafting and you're painting these little parts, and you do like I did, you'll see it in the bottom corner, make a little rack. This is literally just a rubber band, some screws, and 3 pieces of wood, so that they can hang and air dry. Real good hack, and this is a good time of year for it. These little things, I got this at Walmart. You can get them at Dollar Tree. They are ornament hooks. These beautiful, thin little wires that can hook on something to hang and hook onto a little bitty piece and barely touch it so it doesn't muck up the paint. There's like 120 of these in a pack for 98 cents. So that's money well spent. And when you use these little Dollar Tree clamps to hold a piece, you can just hook it right through and let it hang. It's perfect. Hey, I can't recommend these enough. And I was in the very unfortunate position of knowing I had these for the last 6 months and not being able to find them in our Tupperwares of holiday decorations. And instead, I just had to wait till they went on sale for the holidays, which was very frustrating. Now this should go pretty quickly here because this is all one color, no fine work on this. I'm just flying through this one first because it's got a lot of surface area, so it may take a little longer to dry, and I want to try to assemble this before the end of the stream. I'm not going to paint the entirety of the underside here because part of it needs to glue to the head, and I want the plastic to glue to plastic as opposed to the paint gluing to plastic, which is an unreliable seal. I don't trust that. I am thinking that if I have to do painting on these in production, which I know I will with the head because the beard is going to need to be painted on all of them, I may do a little bit of what's called flame annealing. This is a good thing to know if you're painting, especially with nice cheap acrylics like this. Let's see, do you sandplastic before you paint? I don't always, and I also don't always prime. These are parts I don't really care that much about if they're primed or anything because I'm not selling these. This is going to go on my example shelf because it's just a prototype. But if this was one I was selling, yes, I would do a very light, probably 2 light coats of gray primer. I like a light matte gray primer. That's just the Star Wars geek in me. That's always the first step that ILM, the Industrial Light and Magic folk, take when they are making models for ships and for sets, is once they kind of have everything where they like it, everything gets a coat of light matte gray primer, and man, does it transform what it looks like. Everything just changes in an instant. It goes from a bunch of, I've watched Adam Savage do examples of this on his YouTube. Everything goes from bits of plastic that are meant to kind of look like a thing to all of a sudden you're staring at Star Wars. Everything changes. As far as the sanding goes, I don't often bother sanding, but what I was just starting to talk about is flame annealing. This is particularly helpful with resins, so whether it's a UV resin like I use in my printer, or a two-part resin like you would use for pouring silicone molds and those types of things. Those resins can be very averse to letting paint stick to them. But one thing you can do is called flame annealing. You just run a flame right over it. Not enough to burn it, not enough to soften it, but just enough that it gets heated directly by the flame. The open flame is the important part here. You can't do it with a heat gun. It's not the same reaction. But what it does is it opens up the substrate of the plastic, and all of a sudden that plastic will just soak up paint that's put to it. And it really, really makes a big difference. I started doing that with some of the 3D printed trucks that I did. I never did it with any of the figures because I always knew I was going to clear coat those. I often prefer to clear coat anyway. I just like the finish that it gives you. All right, and I'm going to come back and do that last little bit after this dries. But that is looking, that's looking as blonde Perry as this is going to get. So I'm going to put this on a hook and hang it over on my little rack here and let it start to drying. So I'm gonna give a quick warning, quick trigger warning to anyone watching, because I'm about to bring something into frame that you might not like. There is a disorder that I've heard of from a number of people. People don't like looking at objects with many holes in them. It's a phobia they have. I have a piece of styrofoam here that was used to ship things to me that has a lot of holes, a lot of identical holes in it that are kind of perfect for this this piece to just sit down inside so that it can dry. So apologies everyone. No worries, Bobby. Oh, Bobby, I got to tell you, you're gonna miss if you haven't gone yet. Are you still in the chat, Bobby? Because I got to tell you what you're gonna miss. Because you were talking about getting some custom Avengers done, and I just happened to find in my collection a number of busted up Avenger cars, 3 different colors, 3 different styles. So I'm definitely doing your exact idea of making some custom old school style Avengers. I know, Graves, I know. This is why I gave a trigger warning. That's why I gave a trigger warning. Yeah, tryptophobia. So just that's the warning. I won't keep it on screen for long, but it will be on screen for a second because I have to move it kind of across over to my workbench here, so I have somewhere to set this when it's done. But I will show it just for a second. So if you have tryptophobia, look away. This is a piece of styrofoam that was shipped to me that is exactly perfect to just set these little heads in while they dry. So very, very excited that I just happen to have a giant, stupid, perfect piece like that. That's going to stay in my collection a long time. It's off screen now if anyone was averting their eyes. It's perfect for what I need, and I'm going to have a very nice time keeping that around to let stuff dry. It's going to be as useful as this rack I've built, I'm sure. All right, now I get on to the risky business part, is doing this little bitty beard, and I'm going to try to keep it in frame, but I also just need to see it closely. So, oh, that's so nice. It's going to stand out. I was worried the color would be too similar. Oh, no, that looks great. Okay. Yeah, this is promising. This is, I can't tell you how many times I've considered shaving my beard because it would be a lot easier to do my figures if I didn't have to paint a beard every time. But I've had some form of beard on my face since about 2012, 2013, somewhere in there. So yeah, maybe it might have been a little later than that. It might have been closer to like 2014, but I'm not willing to make that change just so I can be lazy on the toy making front. But it has crossed my mind. I'm not gonna lie to you, dear viewers. Let's see. Dizzy says I have tocophobia and sphexophobia, as well as a bit of acrophobia. Tocophobia. I don't know what any of those are. what's the phobia where you're certain that at any moment whatever little success you've had is just going to evaporate because it was all a sham to begin with? Asking for a friend? The thing that constantly repeats in my head. The thing that constantly repeats in my head is the theme song to the Carousel of Progress, which you would think would make me more optimistic, but here we are. The Sherman Brothers did their best, I'll tell you, but not quite enough. Not quite enough when they wrote that one to pull me out of my millennial spirals. All right, this beard is done. Hey, look at little Pear Bear and his little beard. I'm gonna cast a little shadow on that, see if it reads better. Yeah, lighting and camera are fine. They're fine. They're not great, but they're fine. All right, I'm gonna go set that in this little styrofoam trigger warning. Let's see. All right, let's see. Tocophobia is fear of having kids. Oh, I have that fear too. I took care of that years and years ago via surgery. Let's see. Sphexophobia is a fear of wasps, hornets. That I don't really have. Why do I think it's a sham? Joey Nails, you'll know. One day you'll know. It's a thing called imposter syndrome. Anyone with any level of success who's not a sociopath usually suffers from it. Acrophobia is fear of heights. For me, it's not that bad, but enough that I have certain limits. Oh, interesting. When I was a little kid, I think I had a little bit of fear of heights, but as I got taller, I think out of sheer necessity, it went away. All right. Now I got decisions to make now. Do I paint the beard on a few more of these, or do I put them off? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. I am. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna move this rack with the hair I just painted back in front of the space heater. So please hold. Got a very sophisticated setup back here. A small rack I made set on top of a folding chair, set in front of a folding chair with a space heater on it. Very sophisticated setup. Very, the model shop at ILM only wishes they could do this. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna paint a couple more of these beards. Why not? I think Bobby left before he could see the Avengers. That's a shame. Whoa. Are you guys just putting all these long phobia names in here so you can hear me struggle to pronounce them as I look like way across my crafting table at the little bitty text on my screen? Atelophobia is the one you mentioned. The one I mentioned? Imposter syndrome? Athazagoraphobia, the fear of being forgotten or of forgetting someone or something. Oh, interesting. Bobby was here, Joey. He was here. He was even here while you were here. He just he had to take off a little bit ago. So you guys had a little bit of a crossover. Had a different wrestler confirm with me that I wouldn't make it as a wrestler because I tense up when picked up. Well, not everyone needs to be a wrestler. It's fine. I would say you're not missing much, but I really do love it. Something that Delmy had to remind me about some time ago. We were at a Limitless Wrestling show when BRG won the Let's Wrestle Championship, and it was like a very emotional moment. He'd been chasing the belt for some time, and Delmy and I were very proud of him. We were in the crowd watching, and I told, he was also very emotional. He had tears in his eyes in the ring, and I turned to Delmy, and just off the cuff, kind of in not thinking about it or anything, I said, boy, you know, I wish I loved anything the way that kid loves wrestling. And Delmy suddenly got like serious as a heart attack and said, you know, Perry, you love this shit. And I was like, well, yeah, of course I do. And she goes, no, no, no. And she like made a real point to stop me. She goes, you love this shit. And I had one of those moments where I didn't really think through what I was about to say because it wound up being very emotional. But I said, yeah, well, sometimes you love something and it doesn't. And I was going to say it doesn't love you back. And all of a sudden, my voice choked up and I couldn't finish the thought, which was very embarrassing, standing in a crowd on a show I wasn't booked on next to Delmy. And she finished the thought for me out loud because she knew what I was going to say. And then she got very choked up. And I'm not kidding when I tell you that about 72 hours later, I got offered my Japan deal, which was very nice because I needed something to come back from that moment. I will say in that moment when Delmy and I both realized that we'd both gotten very emotional, it suddenly became very funny. We both just burst out laughing and like jumping up and down, like laughing at each other. I believe you can actually see us freaking out laughing at that moment in the background of BRG winning the belt at Limitless if you look the show up. You know, it's one of those really interesting things. If you share enough trips with enough people in wrestling or in life, I mean, I had that when I was in bands too. You share enough of those moments with people, you end up with a bunch of those kind of cool stories where you and that person are kind of growing together. And Delmy and I certainly have a few of those. Rip and I have some of those. Levi and I have lots of those because we were thick as thieves in the era where we were both very much just cutting our teeth in wrestling, and we were struggling and clawing to get whatever crap booking would have us. And then we'd get to those shows and we'd have the best match on the show because, man, those shows were just not very good, if I'm being totally honest. So we had a lot of long drives to talk that stuff through. A lot of late night stops at diners or Applebee's or In and Out because it was California, and a lot of conversations where you just kind of are asking each other like, "What are we doing? Like, what are we doing?" I've experienced a lot of them with someone in particular. Well, that's great. Who's a Crociphone 90? Eating good in the neighborhood. Good to know. That's In and Out? We making the In and Out reference? I heard about your love of egg salad gas station. Yo, so I owe that to Johnny Torres. He initially told me a lot about, oh yeah, you're ever at a gas station, you get an egg salad sandwich, and he had grabbed one, and I was kind of like, really, egg salad from like a Cumbies? That doesn't sound like a great idea. And he was like, nope, call it Old Reliable. It's always good, always fresh at every one of these places. And that sounded like crazy talk to me. And I wasn't a big egg salad guy at that point. So I was just like, well, yeah, maybe for you, that's your Old Reliable. And but then over time, I realized, oh, he's right. And it's a perfect snack for a wrestler on the road because, you're looking for something with some protein, you're looking for something without a lot of fat and sugar, and something that can be good when it's cold because you're getting it from a gas station. And yeah, 9 times out of 10, that egg salad is a big winner. Sometimes they're out of it, and that's the only time it's not reliable. But I do in fact refer to it as Old Reliable for that reason. Of course, the egg salad sandwich was borderline ruined for me by Japan because they're just so good there. Man, you go into a Japanese 7-Eleven, you get an egg salad sandwich, your life's never the same after that, man. I had those almost every single day I was in Japan. Almost every single day. All right. Yeah, the beards on those paint really fast. I'm happy about that. This is great. All right, what's that? 3 of those? I'm going to finish one more. We're going to call 4 of them pretty good on those. And then I'm going to go check that hair and see if we can paint that one last little bit that we needed to get. Yeah, I'm real happy with how easy to paint these beards are. This is much easier than, like, the scale feels a little bit bigger than like my Hasbro figure. That was hard. That's another project. So let's talk about some upcoming projects I have coming. So I've been working on the Perry Hasbro 2.0. So I'm going to have that done soon, which means I'll have some of those to paint on stream. But you know, I was thinking about that Toxic Crusader figure, and there's a few WWF Hasbros from back in the day that I wish I had that I don't want to shell out the money for. But those files are available online, so I think I'm going to print them and paint them myself, because they're just going to sit on my shelf in my gym, providing me that motivation to lift late into the night. If you're interested to know which figures, I can go into it, but I don't want to fill up. I'll watch the chat and see if anyone's interested in that. I am reprinting all of my old monster truck toys that I've sold at shows, so that I have my own copies of them. That is both just for my own collection and display, as well as for like portfolio purposes. I want to take some nice pictures and be able to put them on my website as examples of my work. That's looking good. See, oh, Joey Nails has confirmed he wants to know which figures. All right, so a couple of them I'm just gonna buy because they're like not that old, but like of the newer ones, I'm 100% getting Alundra Blaze, Wendy Richter, and Vader. Those are the ones I really want from the new ones that they put out. As far as the old ones that I'm going to print myself and paint, I think the Road Warriors, Legion of Doom, are on that list. This is just water that I'm going to clean my brush off with, because I think I'm going to call that on those beards for the moment. I don't want this paint to get too thick on here. Yeah, the Road Warriors are way up on that list of priorities. And the natural disasters, Earthquake and Typhoon, I really want those. It's a lot of big man figures. Bam Bam Bigelow is one that I'd really like to have. And I'm trying to be mindful. I don't want to do too many of them because I want just the ones that are really, truly favorites of mine that I would like to have on the shelf in my gym. And right now, the ones I have on the shelf in my gym are, I have the Remco AWA Road Warriors. I have a Kikutaro figure from Japan that is scaled exactly with the Hasbros that I've had for years and years and years, and it's one of my favorites. I love Kikutaro. Love some comedy wrestling. When I was new, when I was training, the goal for myself and Jeremy Leary, who runs Blitzkrieg Pro, we wanted to be comedy wrestlers. That was the dream. All right, I'm going to check on this this hair, and we're going to get back to talking more figures. I think it's looking pretty good. Yeah, that's ready. That's ready for the next little bit here. Slide back in frame. Oh yeah, not even tacky. Love that. All right. All right, I'm going to throw the clamp just on the other corner here. And already I'm dirtying the brush up again. Love some good comedy wrestling. Mystery wrestling. Yeah, mystery wrestling's a lot of fun. I've seen a lot of clips from that. I believe Myung-Jae Lee's been up there for them a little bit, right? Am I right about that? I seem to recall him being on a few of those. He's kind of in with that crowd, that Buffalo into Canada crowd. Love Myung-Jae Lee, my son. All right. I think that should do it. I'm just looking to see if there's anywhere else that really needs to be touched up. I'm going to get the underside with just a little bit more here. All right, that looks good. Put that back in the water, and I'm going to hang this back up, put it in front of the space heater. Yeah, we're going to be assembling this guy before we're done here. All right, put that back where it came from. The next step on those will be I'm going to have to break out the I'll grab them while I'm up, the Gundam markers, and we're going to be doing the eyes and the little smile on the Perry heads. Enjoyed watching it on Twitch when it was on Twitch. Yeah, Hood Slam counts as comedy. Absolutely, Hood Slam's real. Hood Slam's very real. Super random, but I have the goal to save up to go to Japan to go to Nintendo World. You know, there's a Nintendo World in California, right? At the Universal in California, and they're putting one in Florida that'll be opening this year. So just saying, you don't have to go to Japan for it. Oh yeah, you got to get out to a Hood Slam. You'd have a great time. Love the whole crew over there. Yeah, love that crew over there, and they're all some of my closest friends. All right. All right, so the rest of this is I'm not going to bother painting because it is just the prototype and those parts are going to end up changing. But I was really happy with how that turned out. I'm going to set these things aside. We're going to come back to some painting in just a little bit here while I let these parts dry. So something I'd been working on for a long time that I really wanted to get to. We're talking about future projects. I got this bag of the Monster Jam minis and one Micro Machines monster truck in there. I'm going to be pretty soon doing a Tinkercad stream where I'm going to 3D design a display shelf for those that'll have a clear acrylic slide that goes in the front. I'll be able to print a nice little shelf for those that they'll all kind of go on in a grid. That's going to be really cool. I'm excited to show you all what I plan to do with that. So Bobby Gilbert had mentioned, and it's a shame he's not here for it, but his favorite truck, Avenger. It turns out I had 3 of them in the old junk box, and I am 100% planning to free these bodies of these old chassis, and I'm going to 3D print my own chassis and tires for them, and sort of revamp them, make them feel like new. In particular, this the classic green Avenger here. That one's going to go on a chassis that'll make it look like the old Matchbox Superchargers. In fact, I have an example of this. So this is one of the Matchbox Superchargers from 1986. This is a truck they named So High, very appropriate with all the Hood Slam talk. And I loved the sort of cartoony design of these. You know, the slight exaggeration on the shape of the wheels, the size of the truck to the wheels, very, very cartoony, very indicative of their era. And when you look at them compared with the more modern monster trucks, you know, there's a noticeable difference in, you know, the proportions and the scale and everything. And I think it's pretty appropriate given the difference of how trucks look then to how they look now. So I took a modern monster truck that was a Bigfoot. I showed this a little bit earlier, and I removed just the body, and I 3D printed and designed my own chassis that would look like this to go inside the body, and that's what this is. Everything except for the blue. this blue body here, that came with a toy from Walmart. The rest of it is all 3D printed. This is my own design of chassis, made to look very much in the style of the superchargers from the 80s. And you can see the tire proportions, very similar. The height proportions on this read very much the same. And it came out really great. You know, again, there's a little driver inside there. Got little roll bars built in. He's got a little truck bed back there, and I believe you might just be able to make out that there's an engine in there that I painted. Really psyched with how that came out. Hey, the Grizz Kids here with the raid. Hey, welcome guys. We're doing a little workshop stuff today. So one of the things that I've been dying to try is Hot Wheels monster trucks put out these kind of smaller, kind of okay Dollar Tree trucks. They're very basic chassis, very basic size, and again, they are noticeably smaller than like your Monster Jam or whatever. And one of the things, oh, you're playing Legends of Wrestling. I love that game. One of the things I've been wanting to see is how closely this would fit a standard body from a Hot Wheels vehicle. And if it's not that close, that's okay, because I can 3D print and design my own. So I have a few different goals I want to do, a few different things I want to try. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to open this so that I can really hold it next to everything and give it a... Ooh, I actually kind of like the feel of this. So I'll show you a little detail here. It's a very simple base chassis down here. Looks like it actually comes apart with Phillips head screws, which is nice. I love the tires are sort of that little one-piece mold. I like that. Like, a lot of people really don't like that. They want the rubber tires and everything. I like this. Oh, the soundtrack on that was a banger for sure. And so now these I found at Walmart. Adventure Force is like this kind of lower level brand. And this truck in particular I saw and really wanted to try. I like the simple, plain, old school, you know, just this kind of like old Ford F-150, would have been like mid-70s, I believe. Yeah, of course, there's no information on the package. There never is with these lower brands. But I wanna get this body off of here, and I can kind of see that it might line up and fit okay. Like, it might look all right on there. And if it doesn't, again, I can also 3D print and design my own body. Now, the reason I thought it would look okay on there is because when I compare it to, you know, this is a body that came for an actual monster truck. You see the length difference. They are considerably bigger. You got big news, big announcement, but that's tomorrow. Hey, so tune into, what time is your stream tomorrow, Grizzly Kid? 70s, maybe 80s-ish. Yeah, this one looks to be a little bit older than, I always base it on Bigfoot 1. That was a 75, 74. And this, I believe, would have been about that era. So this was probably mid-late 70s. I don't know how clear the grill is coming in on the stream, but it's those little round headlights instead of the big square ones. But I like this paint job even. Like, I wouldn't even change this. I also like that it's got an actual, I don't know if the mic picks that up, but a little truck bed with little rivulets in there. I like this a lot. So that's when we're going to get that body off of there so that if, it says 8 p.m. Eastern. So 8 p.m. Eastern on the Grizz Kid channel. Check them out tomorrow. They got big announcement coming up. I'm going to see if it's going to fit onto this chassis. If not, A-okay, because I've got some other vehicles here. We're going to start stockpiling bodies, and then I'm going to do some Tinkercad designing with my custom chassis, and we're going to make them all into monster trucks. This one, though, sort of a test case for me because I really do like this design, and it was super cheap. I think it was like 95 cents at Walmart or something like that. So I also have, and this is important to me, this is really cool. This is a Volkswagen Caddy. This is the Volkswagen Rabbit pickup truck. I'm going to open this now. I've been hanging on to this. I got a couple of these when they were first in the stores because devout followers, people who've been around for a little bit with me, know that my daily driver, my truck that I drive around in, is a 1981 Volkswagen Rabbit pickup. Take this vehicle and make it kind of a flat primer gray. That is my truck that I drive around in every single day. It gets 64 miles a gallon. It's got a little bitty diesel engine on a 2-wheel front-wheel drive truck. And I want to take this body off of here, and I want to make a monster truck version of my own truck. And I think that would be cool. That does mean that I'm going to have to strip the paint off of this and do it gray. And I got no problem doing that. I actually have, I can strongly recommend it because it does work really well. This citrus strip, not a sponsor. It's non-toxic. You can use it in a room that doesn't have amazing ventilation. You're not going to get sick. So another YouTuber did a Hayabusa electric swap with a VW truck. I've seen some of those. Oh, those are so slick. Oh man, I was watching the one you sent me earlier today. Man, I love watching those videos. So much of that work is so much harder to do than they make it look, and I still enjoy it. But we're going to get the body off of this VW Rabbit and try that one out. I think that's going to be one where I'm definitely going to end up 3D printing my own body for it. But it's possible. Like, this looks like a pretty good one-to-one setup there. Like, even the wheel wells line up. So it's possible it might fit on one of these. So I got a few different options, but that's good because I've got a few of that truck. And then, and this is something I'm really dying to do. This is all going to end up being, these are ones that I'm working on customizing. This one, though, this one I made, Grizzly Kid. This one started as a body from a Walmart truck, just this blue part. And all the rest of it, roll bar, the chassis, the tires, everything is all my design and paintwork, including the little driver that's in that window. And I made it specifically because it comes from this series, the modern Bigfoot series, which has these weird proportions that I don't really love. They're a lot of fun if you're a kid because you can roll the heck out of this thing with these big tires and it'll go, go, go. But these were the 1986 Matchbox Superchargers, the monster trucks that I grew up with. And I wanted some of these trucks to look like they were from that series. So that's literally what I did. You'll see the tire proportions are the same. The kind of the like stance is the same. And I just wanted it to feel like it was from that set. I mean, really, to see them sitting with each other, you wouldn't know that they're not from the same toy series. So I couldn't really be much more happy with how that turned out. That was one of the first 3D printing projects I took on. Something I'm really proud of that might not be all that interesting to everyone, but all these little bitty parts printed super clean, and I did it all on my filament printer. When you're printing with filament, doing little parts with real clean lines and real clean edges where nothing goes wrong is very hard. And I only have an Ender 3 Pro. That's all I had when I got started, and it's very much an entry-level printer, needs a lot of fine-tuning, and I managed to make it happen. This was one of the first projects I did. And again, I printed the axles inside the chassis all as one print, so this came off the print bed rolling. Really thrilled with that one. But that's what I'm planning to do with all these bodies. This chassis I may just try to keep and use. But I do have some monster trucks that I picked up here, specifically so I could pull the bodies from them and put them on chassis that look old school. So I have this one. This is the Power Wheels Bigfoot. This was a design on Bigfoot that was very big in the mid-90s. Would have been like 94, 95, 96. Saw that every Sunday on TNN's Truck and Tractor Power. And so I very much want to put that on a chassis that looks like the old Bigfoot Champions series, and that's going to be a whole new design. I have a lot of those to model it off of, but I got to get that body off of there, so we're going to be doing that. I also have, this is the Grandma Gravedigger. I have one of these upstairs that I saved for a giveaway that we did a few weeks back. Graves, if Graves is still in the chat, I owe you a Grandma Gravedigger, so I have that upstairs. But this one This one's getting ripped apart because I want that old school Gravedigger body, and I want to put it on a Matchbox Supercharger style chassis. So that's getting ripped apart. And then this one is Samson, a later era Samson. This was after it got its body with the arms, the fancy fiberglass. Hey, get your workout in. I don't blame you. I'm stuck doing mine after this, so you're better off. But this one, we're going to rip that body off there, and I'm kind of thinking I'm also going to put this one on a Bigfoot Champions style chassis, because this was another truck that I saw most of the time during that same era, the Penda Point series, mid-90s on TNN. I have some of those Bigfoot Champions. I could show you the difference, but they're all the way on the other side of the shop, and I'm not doing that design today, so we don't have to take a look at that. But I do wanna get this body off of here and start swapping some things around and see how things are gonna sit. No worries, Grizz. I totally get it. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out, and hopefully some folks from here tune in to you tomorrow and see what's going on. Can't wait to hear what the announcement is. Have a good one. Catch some sleep. All right, I'm gonna grab a Phillips head so I can take this apart, because I didn't realize it would be that easy. A lot of these are held together with little rivets, and you got to drill them out. It's a very aggressive process. All right, give me 1 sec while I grab a Phillips head here. All right, we'll see if this one works. So it might be too big to get. Oh no, maybe we're good. It's hard to tell. The little hole around it is pretty small. Okay, I think that's coming along. Got to go smaller. Please hold. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, what'd I miss? Coffee talk. I'm a little verklempt. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Rhode Island is neither a road nor an island. Go. All right, this one fits. That's right. I know from old school SNL. I mean, older school SNL. Old school SNL is like Andy Kaufman and Chevy Chase. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, I love that just comes right apart like that. Come on. Why can't the normal ones be like that? When I take these other bodies off, you're gonna not believe what kind of work it is. This just came out with 2 easy little screws. Oh, that's beautiful. These designs are so simple. Why do they got to overcomplicate all the other ones? I mean, I know the other ones look nicer, but like, come on. That's really nice. Okay. So now we got that. I may have to cut some of this down. I'm almost certain that I will. The shape of this little... I do like that they bothered molding the entire roll cage in there. I don't know how well that's showing up on camera, but like, they bothered with all that, and they cover it up. I mean, once the body's on there, you don't really see most of it. Then it comes off, and look, you got the whole roll cage. Yeah, that's what she said. All right. Set all these little pieces over here so I don't lose them. Little Race Ace body. RIP Race Ace. I believe this is one of the ones that's been retired from the Hot Wheels tour in lieu of fancier trucks that'll sell more toys. So let's see. I think the first one I want to try is the rabbit. And I'm going to show you the difference here. On this, there were 2 little screws that came out of the bottom. On this, these little blue parts are rivets that hold this in place. And in order to get those out, we have to drill them out, which is a little bit dangerous. But not for me. It's more dangerous for the truck than it is for me. Hey, Herobotic made it. All right, let's find a size that's going to do the job here. Probably go a little bit bigger than that one. Actually, I'm going to keep that one out just in case. We'll go to the next size up, though. All right. Oh yeah, I can see some of those parts behind us drying pretty good. We're gonna be in business for assembling that prototype of the Perry Little People figure soon. All right. Yeah, trigger warning for anyone wearing ear pods. It's gonna get loud. All right, so basically what has to happen is I got to come in on this rivet and just go until it's ready to let go. I don't want to go in too far and like drill the whole thing out and put a hole through the body, but I got to get this chassis to release this. Usually I wouldn't do it up in the air like this, but for the sake of the camera. And you can tell I'm taking my time with it. Joey Nails is looking for some ASMR. That's looking pretty close to free there. All right, I'm going to work on the other end. And I am definitely taking my time with this because you don't want to suddenly go through, not just because my hand's on the other side, but because it would wreck the body that I'm trying to free up. The one part I care about keeping. Okay, that side's good. We got to get back to this one. All right, we free yet? Got to be getting close. Thanks for those warnings. Hey, no problem. Okay, these sounds only bothered me muffled because it sounds like being at the dentist. Well, fortunately, this is not nearly as dentisty sounding as some things that I do in this workshop. When I use the Dremel, that sounds like the dentist. This thing's nice and low and kind of slow, and I take my time with it. All right, I'm gonna go one bit higher from the set here. I know Joey Nails is a little bit triggered by seeing a DeWalt on the table, but he'll get over it. All right, this should just about finish this one out. Okay, I can feel that starting to want to move. Are we there yet? Yeah, there we go. Now we're coming loose. There it is. All right, and that's just that easy. If you've never seen the inside of a Hot Wheels vehicle, there's not much to it. That's the chassis. This is the cab. I may save some of this cab bit, just the driver part, not the back bed probably. Especially if I end up 3D printing a new a bit for it. The windshield is its own piece that's in there. I'm going to leave it in and not take it off. I kind of like it, even though it is tinted yellow, which is not necessarily ideal. Well, let's see. How's this want to sit on here? Yeah, we're gonna have to shave down some of that roll cage, but I think it's actually gonna look pretty good. I think it's gonna be a good fit. I mean, look at that. That's gonna be pretty good. Huh. Well, that saved me a bit of work. All right, let me grab my little. I've got some little plastic nippers. We're gonna trim this on down to just what's needed. Looks like my chassis are not quite going to finish printing during this stream. I can see them back there. They're coming along real nice. My second Ender 3 is a real workhorse. It's slightly newer than the old one. Wow. These little nippers got a bit taken off of them at one point. I must have really been going at something with that. All right. But we are going to trim this down a fair bit because right now this part is in the way, and I'm not letting that body sit on there flush. So Joey Nails, you sent me a costume picture earlier. Is that a change in your wrestling persona, or is that just a whole different thing? I'm curious to know. Boy, I'm going to have to vacuum up all of these little metal shavings that are, I don't know if those are coming in clear to all of you, but there are metal shavings everywhere here. All right, let's get a look at how this body sits on here. It's still sitting a bit high. Yeah, I'm going to have to take down some more of this. What are we hitting on? Oh, it's the sneak peek before the collabs with Nika Beans. I love that. Okay, I think I see what's in the way here. Let's get a look at what's happening. What are we bumping up against? Oh, actually, it just needed a little bit more persuading. Wow. You guys, this is going to look good. I'm stunned at how well this lined up. I mean, come on. That's looking good. Yeah, I had no right to look that good. Really surprised by that. Okay, I can see one little piece that's getting in the way there, I think. Yeah, I'm going to trim that down. This is, when you're doing these kinds of little kit bash, kit bash Franken toys, often, right now, this little bit of detail work that they have here, looking on the screen, yeah, see this little X there? Bit of roll bars, it's getting in the way of letting this slide on smoothly. So I'm just gonna nip that away. And got to do it on both sides for sure. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. See if I can actually get in there and get that bit off of there. This is where Joey Nails is supposed to remind me to cut away from myself. Goblin mode. It's your equivalent of Finn Balor's demon when you've pushed Joey Nails too far. Yeah. Hey, this is pretty promising. So yeah, this is not going to require a lot of work at all, and it's going to look great. Yeah. Huh. If you cut toward yourself, you owed your wife $1 each time. Hey, she's the breadwinner. She doesn't need my money. All right, I'm going to put the windshield over in my little bit of parts there. This I'm going to have to hit with the paint remover before it's good to go, fully finished. But for right now, the general mock-up is real promising. I'm just trying to make sure I see what everything hits on, make sure nothing's in the way. Yeah, so this is kind of what we're going to end up looking at. I mean, it might be a little bit set up a little bit higher than this, which I can build up with some other parts in there. But boy, that's going to look really slick. I can't believe how well that fit. All right. That's getting set aside because the body's got to be stripped of its... oh, you know what? I wanted to put the cab in it in there. That's where it gets tricky. All right, well, you know what? I'm going to cut down till we have only the cab. And then we might just be able to glue it back in later. That's going to be the move, I think. Just remove the parts that are unnecessary. And give the cats each a treat. There's 3 of them now. That's too many cats to give treats. Gonna bankrupt me. I'm just down here trying to make toys, you know? All right. Yeah, that's what I needed. That's good. All right. I might leave that back bed for now, but just cut off these little spots that hold the wheels on. Yep, those are no longer relevant, and they are off into the ether of the workshop. I don't make the rules. I just enforce. I'm pretty sure you are making the rules. Oh, Jangles is a separate little guy. Well, if he's a masked guy, then he can definitely be a separate little guy. You can get double payday. Every show you work 2 matches. One is Joey Nails, one is Jangles. Boy, I might not even need that windshield back in there because this looks pretty good like it is. I'm gonna put the windshield in though and just see how it all fits together. All right, just like that. Ooh, that actually holds it in place better. Let's see how's that gonna sit on that chassis now. Will it fit anymore? Yeah, that makes it go up too high. Yep, gonna have to cut more off of this chassis actually. I thought it was gonna be the other way around. I thought I was gonna be cutting bits out of the old truck. But yeah, I'm gonna take it down to, you can sort of see this part of the frame, the straight line here. I'm gonna take it down to there. And I think that's gonna get us to about where we want to be. Boy, these little nippers are a great tool, especially if you have like plastic you need to cut. Can't recommend it enough. They come in a big multi-pack on Amazon for like practically nothing, and they're just fantastic. You get a free set with your 3D printers. I know Joey knows. He's got a set probably just like these that came with a baby blue handle with his new printer. I believe is standard with the printer that he bought. All right, trim some of this away so I can get in at some of this. Let's see, is this bend yet? Yeah, not yet. If cut wrong when I'm in the kitchen or injure myself, give my partner $1. Well, hopefully that hasn't really amounted to a lot of money giving, because always be careful. Safety first, kids. Yeah, when I'm done here, tonight is back and buys in the gym. I've had an interesting phenomenon happening with my back and buy workouts the last few weeks. The workouts themselves have not felt great. Like, I've really felt like I don't know, they felt like they left a lot to be desired to me. But the pump I've had has been some of the best I've ever had. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it's probably working just fine, right? Like, who am I to argue with the success of a good pump? I can't tell you how tempting it is to break out the Dremel for some of this work, but I know some of you watch with ear pods, and I don't want to ruin your life. Perry pump is best pump. Hey, you know, honestly, any good pump is the best pump. I found lately that when I work out wearing my Andy Brown t-shirt, I always get a good pump. I blame Andy Brown, as we all should, for so many things. A delightful, delightful man who will never watch one of my live streams because he's got stuff to do. But that's okay. All right, so I've taken this chassis down to like the barest of bare minimums. I've got a very good feeling about how this is going to sit now. Well, let's do a quick test fit here. Oh yeah, yeah, that looks great. Move it back so it's lined up right. Yeah, that's going to look really good once once everything's repainted. I get it glued up. Wheel wells are just up high enough that they don't rub, but it's set low, which is right for a VW pickup. Love that. Ha! Andy Brown's the reason for inflation. I get it because of pump. All right, I'm going to set that out of the way. That's good for now. I'm going to move a couple of these tools that I might not be needing right away out of the way. Some collateral damage. We're going to do a giveaway of Hot Wheels chassis. All right, bring this all together here. Take out the big bits. And then I'm going to break out one of my favorite tools. You all get to see one of the silliest tools I own. I hope everyone's ready. I hope everyone's excited. I hope everyone's not wearing ear pods because this will make noise. I have to vacuum up these metal shavings so I can paint over here again. And I just happen to have the greatest vacuum in the world. That's right. It's a cat. The Catium. Huh? Huh? That was this was a workshop edition that came to me while I was in Japan. I didn't buy it in Japan. It just came to the workshop while I was in Japan. I came back from Japan and my wife had procured this for me, knowing that I needed it. And it is delightful. All right. There we go. It's about as clean as that's going to get. And I need to retrieve my painted parts here. Okay. The hair is looking good. Call that a qualified success. And yeah, these heads are looking good too. The beards look great on there. All right, so I'm going to grab my Gundam markers. Oh, good. I brought them over already. Way ahead of myself. Joey Nails dropping links. Oh, clipping. Oh, clipped the cat vac. Hell yeah, Joey Nails. All right. And I'm going to break out one of my Gundam paint markers here. I'm going to drop a bunch of them on the floor. Pull them all out here. They can't really roll away, so grab the ones that jumped. Here we go. So I believe this one is black, which is what I'm looking for. Let's get a look. Ooh, very, very fine point. Ooh, that's going to work real nice. All right, well, that's exactly what I need. All of these need to be shaken before used. So always do your best to do that. I probably shouldn't keep them down here in their cold temperatures, but what can you do? All right, so what I'm going to be doing here is putting on two little eyes and just a little smile in the little mouth hole there. I don't have a great example to show here, but I left all the figures upstairs, I think. Yeah, the ones I have down here are too buried. I'm not going to pull them out. But the Fisher-Price little people have very specific stylized faces, and I'm going to try my best to recreate that here. And I know almost none of this will show up on camera. For some reason, this camera doesn't like to focus up on stuff quite this small. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's okay. I don't know. I got mixed feelings about how this is drawing. All right, then I'm going to come up here. I'm going to give him his eyes. Yeah, wow. That's really weird. The layer lines in this plastic are sort of working with capillary action to just pull the paint around and make a big splotch. Wow. Okay, so that's not how I'm doing that. Not with that pen. Holy cow. That's a shame. I really thought that was going to save me a bit of work. But I think I'm going to have to do it with a brush. That's a shame. All right, head number 2. This is why I painted a bunch of them. You never know. All right, what is the finest point brush that I have nearby? Because that's what it's going to take. Yeah, that one comes to a fairly fine point if I'm real careful with it. I think the one I was using earlier might actually be my best bet. Yep. Going to stick with the same one from before. This time we're going to... Now I'm thinking, do I have another paint marker? Ah, that other one was such a failure, I don't trust trying it again. All right, let's see. That's pavement. This one's actually black. All right, there we go. Get that shaken up. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for some of the projects coming up here. Between a lot of these monster truck alterations, I believe some of which may end up being giveaways. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. For some of the ones that are custom for my collection, I'm looking forward to that. We got a lot of Tinkercad stuff that I'm going to be doing on the channel pretty soon, including this little guy is the Bigfoot Champions Fast Tracks tank. This series of Bigfoot toys had these little travel tires, and you could pop monster truck tires onto them. But this, you'll notice, has a bunch of little holes here, and those lined up with specially made tank treads that sat on here. This was based on a monster tank from the Bigfoot fleet called the Bigfoot Fast Tracks, and this is the only 1/64th or Hot Wheels scale monster tank toy ever made. I have 3 of this particular toy, and this one doesn't have any tires or any tank treads. I have one that has regular monster truck tires, which makes it very reminiscent of the Bigfoot Shuttle, which was an Aerostar van in the early Bigfoot days. And then I have one set with the tank treads, and that's up on my shelf upstairs. That one actually came to me still in the box, and yeah, I opened it, even though it was like 30 years old. Gotta let them breathe, man. Nicobene says, I currently own a limited edition Perry, as well as a monster truck variant, I believe. I'm going to need one of each of these, please and thank you. Yeah, that can absolutely be arranged. So now I have to get into the story that's been plaguing me all day. So I talked about how I am a canonical completionist, and I did a bad job at keeping one of each of the old toys for myself. And that's true, and I'm correcting that now. The printer is currently running a few of them. The Series 2 Perry monster truck, which was based on, I want to say, a 1947 or 48 Ford pickup truck, very old school, you know, curvy, very straight, you know, very different looking from like anything that we would see now. And and uh, it was cool. I had customized it so that the back bed had human monster truck written on it, and the hood said PVV, and it had the little me coming out the window. And somehow, in the course of time, my Tinkercad file of that became corrupted. The STL I had downloaded of it has vanished off of every hard drive I own. And the root file that I designed it off of, that I found on Thingiverse, is also corrupted when you download it. So I don't currently have a way to recreate that one at all. So instead, I've picked a body that's similar, something that's close, and I'm just going to have to do my best with something that's kind of like it. And when I tell you that I spent the better part of my day today trying like hell to find that file, overturned things in my home, fired up computers that have been dead for some time, just really went at it, and I can't find the file. So would I be able to if you donated them back to me for science? So maybe I might be able to 3D scan the body, and it might work. What I'm kind of thinking I'm going to do, I'm just going to do it over with a similar truck body. It won't be exactly the same, but it'll be the same in spirit. And, you know, I've talked about how with my particular collecting of toys, like with Toxie here, it's not the real toy. It's a 3D print that I made that is just like the real toy and painted by me, where the colors are close but not perfect, and the painting's close but not perfect. But for me, it's the physical representation of the object. And I think I need to extend that same courtesy to the collection of my own toys and just say, you know what? I lost the file. It's a mistake I won't make again. And I just got to remake it. And so I think I'm probably going to do that on a stream as well, and then print my copies of it. I am interested which monster truck you have. I believe you do have a Mad Tank. I recall that. I know you have a Perry Hasbro, if memory serves. But I would be interested in which of the monster trucks you have. I believe it is the Series 2. It's not the pink. It's not the pink one. It's not Perry's dream car, right? All right. So let's see if we can. Yeah, that's going to be about what I need it to do. So I'm just going to dab a little off here. We're going to see about getting some eyes on this guy and see how we get on. That's good. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Simple little people eyes. All right, now real quick before anything can happen to that, I'm going to get it in front of the heater so it dries. And I'm going to grab the other two heads that I have back there. We'll put some eyes on them too. Okay, yeah, Nika Beans is grabbing the Perry toys so that we can see which ones. Uh, Dizzy, I believe yours the one that looks like a galaxy. Is yours the one that has the stars on it? I want to say that's the one that you had, but I'm not sure. All right. Just see here. Hey, pretty good. Feeling okay about these. All right, one more of these. It's all purple and blue with stars. Yeah, okay, so that is the Series 1 truck, and it is the Galactic Chaos variant. I'm going to be recreating that one soon for my collection because I need it. And I'll be showing how I did that with my airbrush. Aha, sent to IG. I'll see, let's see. I mean, both myself and Rip were limited for sure. Okay, yeah. So you have the Mad Tank, and that's oh, interesting. Okay, that is a limited Perry. It looks almost like the torso was swapped from me and Rip. Interesting. Yeah. Wow. On the Mad Tank. I got to remake the Mad Tank too. The only version I have is a prototype that's not the correct scale, and everything's kind of wrong about it. So I don't even have that one myself. All right, and let's get these eyes on this last one here. Yeah, real interesting. The layer lines in this plastic are kind of wicking the paint. Wow, really weird. Did not expect that. All right. So those heads are looking good. I got to wait for those eyes to dry, and then we'll glue the hair on, glue the head to this body that I made, and we'll have our first little prototype Perry to sit in the monster truck. Pretty psyched about that. All right, I'm gonna let that sit in the water. Get that out of here. All right. So while that's sitting, because we got a little bit longer before I'm gonna call it here, we're gonna free some more of these bodies up so that I can. I think the next stream I'm gonna be 3D modeling some chassis to go with these monster truck bodies because they're gonna need it. So let's take a look. Okay, so this weird little off-brand made by it's called like what was it, Adventure something. I do like this. It's very cool looking. Oh, I like that the body's one piece. The windshield's just painted on. Oh man, I dig that. At least it looks like it's painted on. It's hard to say. Well, we'll know once we pop it apart here. All right. There's my drill. All right, warning on the drill noises because they're coming in hot. Ooh, that came apart real quick. Didn't break the body though. That's what's important. And then for the front, we're going to need one that's a little bit more narrow to get that off of there. I can see. Yeah, because if I go in with this thing, oh yeah, that's going to gnarl it all up. Oh, maybe it'll be okay. Just going to take my time with it. Nice and slow. Let's see, is that free yet? Not free yet. It does look like the front grille is part of the body. I like that. That's something you run into with a lot of Matchbox and Hot Wheels is that front grille will actually be part of the chassis. So when you separate them, you kind of lose it. You have to glue it back on. But not this. This one's all one piece. All right. Swap smaller drill bit here so I can get in nice and fine with this. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Warning to all the little kids who are up at this hour watching some weird wrestler stream. Please practice caution when using power tools. Don't drill directly toward your hand like I've been doing this whole stream. I am a trained professional wrestler, so I know what I'm doing. There we go. I can feel that. That just freed right up. Come on. Oh, it was ready to let go. I could feel it. Not quite. There we go. That's what I was after. Little axles just fall out on their own. Those go in the spare parts pile. Little chassis has absolutely nothing to it. And oh yeah, the windshield is its own piece. Oh, interesting. All right. That's a good looking little body. I think that's going to work real well for some custom 3D printed bits. I am going to have to snip off. Well, actually, you know what I'm going to do? So I'm going to give you guys, yeah, OSHA wrestling faction. Wow, an OSHA captain, so that you'll manage the faction then. So I think what I'm going to do, this gives you a little bit of insight into how you start thinking when you've been doing the 3D modeling for these things and you know how the parts have to go together. These pieces right here, these sort of struts that went into that bottom chassis that are up on the front and up on the bottom, I could snip those off and have like a nice clean flat bottom to this and just glue the two pieces together. But I think the better thing to do is to keep these here, and I'm going to 3D model slots into the chassis that I designed so that I can lower this in and it'll have a mechanical connection. So I'm going to keep this just like it is. I don't see any reason to change it at all. And I had some thoughts about like, oh, you know, maybe I'll 3D model like a cool roll bar to go in here. And I may still do that. But for now, I like the simple design on this. So that's going to be one. We're going to keep that for further work down the road. Now, I want to free up this Avenger body so that we can do a little work for Bobby Gilbert on an upcoming stream. You guys know he's going to be psyched to know I'm making the Avenger. I work with FEMA. Oh, don't be stupid with power tools. Is that what FEMA does? Let's see here. Yeah, that's the size. I love when there's an obvious fit like that. Perfect. This is yeah, no emergency room, Perry's. Yeah, not anytime soon. I hope not. If I end up in the emergency room, it won't be for playing with toy monster trucks, I don't think. Although it wouldn't be the first time. When I was 14, I had my Clodbuster, the RC truck that I keep just off screen here, that big white one. I had that on my desk in my bedroom, and it had a problem somewhere in its circuitry where it wasn't the speed control wasn't sending a charge through, and I had the battery plugged in, and I had the speed controller turned all the way, and I was just going through with a voltmeter trying to see where the charge no longer made it through. And I touched it in one spot, and it was right between a break in the wire that I didn't see, and it completed the circuit. And it was just enough that the truck just jolted back straight into my face and broke my nose. It happened so fast. That truck probably weighs 12 pounds, 13 pounds, and can do a top speed of 40 miles an hour. And it just went straight back into my face. So 13-year-old Perry just knocked unconscious with a broken nose by a toy truck. Scar on the bridge of my nose from a crash test dummies toy car. Oh, that's what a way to get a scar. I love those toys. They're high up on my list of like I'm gonna start collecting again one day. The parts on them are a little too like detailed and fine for me to, try to 3D print. I think I would be in for a world of hurt with that. All right, we're just about there. I'm going to go slightly wider than this. See how this does. Yeah, that's going to be, that's what we're after. All right, this ought to just about free us up here. Oh, yeah. I think that did it. Yep, there it goes. So on these are the Hot Wheels Monster Jams from back in the day. You can see a lot of detail on that roll cage. And the actual vehicle body had this great big long metal piece that riveted into the bottom. So I'm going to end up having to take that off probably. I mean, I could, I might leave it on. I'm going to do the same thing I was talking about with this, where I use these little struts to put a slot in the 3D model. I'm going to put holes to receive all of these pieces so that the body sits just where I want it. I think that's going to look really slick. All right, that's 2 bodies. Moving along at a good clip here. Feel good about this. All right, this goes into the parts heap. How are we looking on? Okay, those eyes still need a little bit of time to dry back there. We're gonna have an assembled Perry Little Person, Perry Little People prototype before the end of the stream here. But now we're gonna pull apart the Hot Wheels Power Wheels Bigfoot, 2 brands in one. Not sponsors. Oh, I didn't realize that this was a special re-release. This is, for those who don't know, Bigfoot, the original monster truck, made its debut in 1975, which makes this year the 50th anniversary of monster trucks and of Bigfoot. And on the top of this Power Wheels Bigfoot, there it is, Bigfoot 50. That's pretty cool. Look at that. I'm tearing apart a special edition toy truck. That's why you come to these live streams. You know what? While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and open up. Samson and Gravedigger at the same time. We're going to do all these unboxings at once. These bodies are crisp and clean and shiny and beautiful, and I really hope I don't muck them up too bad while I'm doing what I'm going to do to them. Little crush cars that come with them. I do like their the crush car design that Hot Wheels has. They have all these little pegs and holes so that you can kind of stick them together and make stacks out of them. It's a neat idea. I've never actually played. Yeah, there you go. They can kind of stick together like that. Or you can put the tailpipe in that one's engine, and it'll. Yeah, pretty nifty. I do use these up in my shelves for display because once you put the front wheels up on a car, the truck takes up a little less space on the shelf. So, yeah, I kind of cheat it that way. But I am going to keep all those. All right, so we got those guys freed up, and that leaves us with the Gravedigger to take out of the box. This is the same one I gave away. We had a giveaway of one of these a little while back. This is the Grandma Gravedigger body on the modern truck. This is modeled after a truck they ran at World Finals some years ago. But boy, that is shiny and new and beautiful. Look at the old school headlights. Yeah, we're gonna rip this thing apart. Oh, can I read the little details on there? Wow, yeah. That is slick. That's going to look really good on a chassis like one of these. Those old school tires. Going to look really cool. Let's see, I'm going to start setting some of these out of the way. Some of the stuff that I'm not going to mess with just yet. Some of these Avengers I'm not going to rush to play with. But for right now, we got to get these bodies off of these modern trucks here. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with the same size. And with this one, it's way deep up in there. So we're just going to go nice and slow on this one. One thing that's nice about this process is that you can absolutely, as long as you're taking your time with it, you can feel when it lets go. So it's hard to go past it, you know? Is this exciting? Is this riveting? You're held in by rivets. Get it? How'd I do? Did I do comedy? Am I rich and famous yet? Like, I'm just out here trying to heal the world with comedy. Bo Burnham style. Alright, let's get a look in there. Getting pretty close. Yeah, I can feel it getting loose. Not quite there yet, though. Putting the screws to my sense of humor right now. Yeah, it's just, look, I'm out here practicing bits. Bits? I mean, I suppose you probably got the joke. I don't need to deconstruct it for you. Really throwing a wrench in my snail stream currently. Jesus. Yeah, it's getting there. Let's see, do I want to go with the wider one for this? Yeah, I think I do. Yeah. There it goes. That was all it needed. Who needs a turntable? All right. Set this off out of the way. And there's our Bigfoot Power Wheels body again. These nice little pegs on the bottom are going to work really well to line everything up. Now, with these bodies, because there's no truck bed and all this is see-through, I'm probably going to model my own truck bed and my own cab for it, like I did with this custom design, where I don't know if you'll be able to see through the windshield. The little driver in there, painted his little helmet on him. And the back bed is there as well, with a little roll bar. And then in the front, I have that sort of engine modeled. I'm probably going to do all of that for this. These trucks were rear engine by this time, so I'm not totally sure how that's going to work. There's not really a lot of space to see in there, but who knows? Maybe I'll get ambitious. Can I buy cats in jars? I don't know. Ask Jeeves. I'll check Lycos. This chat is going off the rails. If Bobby Gilbert was here, I don't think anything would change. I think it would still be off the rails. All right, let's put this chassis over here. I'm going to keep all the parts I'm planning to use on one side and all the rejects elsewhere. And a lot of this stuff I'll either reuse or you can actually, a lot of people buy Hot Wheels parts, like lots of parts on eBay. So sometimes I'll box a bunch of these up together, snap a couple pictures, and just throw them on eBay. Bobby Bonzi Buddy Gilbert. Free up this Samson body. Oh, that was quick. Nice. Ooh. Now see, I hadn't noticed before, but underneath that roll cage that came off here, there's a rear engine kind of molded in here. Ooh, and it's got a lot of nice detail. I may need to rip that off of there, all chromed up and beautiful like that, and reuse it when I make the new chassis for these. Ooh. Ooh, that's a good idea. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, I'm excited. That's awesome. And yeah, this Samson body is beautiful. It's got the little sun visor on the front windshield there. Those fists. Yeah, that's a beautiful design. For those who don't know, that Patrick, it says on the back that Dan Patrick, the original designer driver of Samson, he designs almost all the chassis used by basically all of monster trucks nowadays. All right, and last and never the least, the black and green wrecking machine, Dennis Anderson's very own. Let's see, that might be too big for that. I got to go down a size. Aha! I've drilled out the hole a little bit bigger, but the good news is, deep down in there I can see a tiny little Phillips head screw. It looks like the Monster Jam trucks may take a Phillips head now. They never used to. Well, let's see, because that might make life real easy. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, Spin Master. Way to go. I can feel it trying to come out. Oh, is that Phillips head? It might be too fine for this. It is really small. Hard to say. I can feel it biting. I miss mid-2000s internet sometimes. I miss early 2010s internet. There was a really fun corner of Twitter that was called Weird Twitter. That when I was doing stand-up, I was pretty involved with. And man, the funniest people on the internet. Like genuinely, maybe the only people that knew how to use the internet. All right, I'm just drilling that screw out now. Yeah, that's going to come. It's just going to take a little doing. I might go in with a finer 0.1 and see if we can do that. Oh, yeah, the old forum days. Man, I remember. If you were into indie wrestling in New England back in the day, the old Burning Hammer forum, that was where it was at. All right, we're getting there. It's starting to go. Really doesn't want to let go. Dude, Kaiju had its own forum month. I remember the Kaiju forums back in the day. Those were fun too. Different times, different times. My opinion of Kaiju has never quite been the same since their parting of ways with someone who shall not be named because he cannot be named. because his name's been redacted. A certain medical professional. Very, very briefly, a chat room that lasted a few weeks. There it goes. Yeah! Alright, let's pull this back out. Now you get to see the inside of a Monster Jam style toy where they also have a little rear engine in it and little engine bits coming down, little driver. A lot of nice detail that go into these. Wow, that's interesting. Somehow this one tire didn't get the BKT painted on it. Huh. Alright, well, into the bin with you. And that's our Gravedigger body, which looks really nice. I'm going to have to shave down. This has a... Actually, I can probably get that with some pliers. Hold on. Hang tight. Everyone talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. I can't think of a topic. Almond milk is neither almond nor a milk. Discuss. I thought of one, but it was by the time I got back. All right. Just going to take that gnarled bit of metal off of there. It does not want to come. Am I really going to need to get like a different set of pliers here? All right, there we go. That's got it. There we go. All right. And that's Gravedigger all freed up. It's like clang it around, bang up all the paint. Yeah, real nice looking. All right, so we got a whole fleet of bodies now. And with those, I'm going to possibly later this week, possibly next week, we're going to have some Tinkercad time. And I'm going to show you how to design custom chassis for pre-existing monster truck bodies. That's something I've done a fair bit of and something I really enjoy because it adds a whole different look, a whole different life to these toys that they sell. And it is a very specific need, admittedly. It's a need that's really just for me. Because who else looks at the beautiful modern monster truck toys that they're releasing and goes, ew, not my style? It's me. It's because I want them to look like my old toys. I guess this is growing up. All right, let's bring all this together. I'm not going to break the cat out again. Instead, I'm just going to sweep this all into my hand and go take it over to the trash bin because I have to recollect the bits of the Little People Perry. And we are going to glue him up and have that prototype done. There's trash all over the place. It's like someone kept opening toys and throwing the trash over their shoulders. All right, let's take just one of these heads is all we need. Beautiful. All dry, looking good. Love that. All right. So what I need now is my super glue and my kicker. If you're unfamiliar with super glue kicker, super glue is cyanoacrylate glue, CA glue it is sometimes called, and kicker or Instaset is this little spray that makes it not only set up way faster, you know, for those of us that super glue isn't fast enough, but it also makes it stronger. Running away to stream my fish release. Wow, cool. All right, Nick and Beans, thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I'll be streaming again soon. I'll see you then. All right, and let's get this out here. So first things first, I want to glue this head down into the body. It's going to sit just like that. And now you're starting to see Perry come together here. All right, so this is easy enough. I'm gonna give this body off camera. I'm gonna give it a little spritz right like that, but I got to do it over here where it's not in everything's way. All right, that's good. Get it off my fingers, because otherwise the super glue is going to try to attach itself to me. And I still got to lift tonight, so I can't have super glue all over my hands. All right, this was good and stuck before. Let's see if we can't unstick it. Ooh, this might be difficult. Might have to go with the thin stuff, which I didn't want to do. I wanted glue with some body to it, but I guess I'm going with the thin stuff. All right. So now I'm going to come just down on the parts that I want to stick. All right. And bloop, just drop it right down. And that's going to be as set as can be. Just going to let that sit, let it marinate a minute. And all that kicker is going to evaporate away. But for now, I'm just going to leave it there. But that should, oh yeah, that's glued on. That ain't going anywhere. So we've got the base of our little guy. But now, we got to get his hair on there. Got to give Perry that mane of golden locks that he's so famous for. This looks so silly. Fantastic. All right, so for this, I'm actually going to cheat the kicker a little bit. I'm going to use a brush. Grab one of my crappier brushes. I'm going to come over here and just put a bunch down. Get it all over my brush here. I'm going to paint just a little layer right there. And that should be enough to do this. Take some off the body because there's some extra there. Only takes a littlest bit. Okay. Now I'm going to put some of the glue on this hair here. Oh, that's a fair bit more than I really wanted, so I'm going to take some off with this paper towel. All right, there we go. And now, get this lined up nice and straight. Hold it in place for a few seconds. Might need more glue than that. Yeah, I'm going to have to use a little bit more. Yep. All right, we're going to get it where we want it here. I'm going to drip it right down the back. Let gravity do some of the work for me. Gravity and capillary action. What a team. And I am going to give it just a little spritz right here. Just off camera real quick. And that should be, oh yeah. There he is in all his glory. I'm going to go hold him in front of the space heater for just a sec and evaporate some of that stuff off of him. All right, he is looking good. Look at old Pear Bear. Ha ha. Yes. Absolutely thrilled with the Perry Fisher-Price little person. So now I know this proof of concept absolutely works and can be put out. On my little prototype monster truck here, I'm going to glue the engine down, and I'm going to glue the roll bars down. And for that, I'm just going to do it right here on camera. I'm going to put a little glue down on the base of that, and then just a little bit in each of these little holes that I put in for the roll bar. And then off camera, I'm going to give a little spritz on this engine. Just like that. I'm just going to drop it in place. And that's going to stick nice and solid. Do the same thing for the roll bars. Drop it in place. Get it snugged down. And because I use that kicker, those should be, yeah, those ain't going anywhere. Beautiful. I'm so happy with how this silly little design came out. I am going to make the tires bigger. At the suggestion of both my wife and Nika Beans, I've now heard that that needs to happen. But yeah, little Perry can sit in his little monster truck. He's looking pretty good. I'm going to switch over to my IRL cam here. All right, let's get a look on that camera at this little guy. That's our little Fisher Price Perry. What do we think? Looks pretty good, right? Just like the real thing. Very pleased with that. That looks really good, and you'll see it on the desktop cam there. He rolls right along. Yep, that's a big success. I love how that turned out, and yeah, I am gonna alter the body on that truck a little bit and do some different colors. But that has been my my crafting stream for this week. Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out. I'm gonna go wash up a little bit and then come right back down to this freezing basement, back to that gym over there. And I'm going to be lifting some weights. So if you're a night owl, if you're up late, check the Instagram. You'll see the clips. But for now, thank you all so much for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and I will be back next week, if not sooner. 9 p.m. Mondays and Tuesdays. Again, if not sooner. Take care, everybody.